But today it's a different story. 20 years ago, the wool market crashed over here. I'm afraid, even though he's really good at his job, he's in a bit of trouble. He's extremely rare. He's like Nobby on the way out. Now, luckily for Lenny, he heard about your problem and got off your island, made it to my island, New Zealand. I'm not sure how he got there. Maybe Rainier's helped him. So he won't become extinct when you lose him. We have him. Unlike Nobby, Nobby's down to just a few hundred. When you lose him, he's only found in England. When you lose him here, he's gone forever. He's found nowhere else. All right, we're going to move over to the Europeans, the foreigners. This guy has something that the other sheep don't have. All the time, you're going to get side effects. I personally think what the French are trying to do is get a sheep a bit like the Suffolk. Long body, good carcass, good meat, good wool. They've done a pretty good job. But the biggest problem, I think, they forgot about the rest of him. He's got soft feet. He's a little bit more high maintenance, really. In the right climate, he's great. Otherwise, in the wet climate, he's not very good at all. All right, we're going to move over to the highlight. Well, the highlight for some, the live strip T-shirt. All right, just be careful of that side little fella, because it might pop on your head. Now, I was only about 14 years old when I sheared my first sheep. And I'll never forget it, kids. Funny thing in life, kids, you never forget. I will physically catch it. If I miss, hardly ever miss. If a sheep lands on the grass and I'm not physically attached to it, it's not part of the show. Okay? Please don't panic. If a sheep is running at you, stand if you're sitting. If it gets closer, turn. If it's really close, run. That's what they've told me to tell you. Now I'm covered. You can't sue me. Doesn't look great. All right, she will be a bit wild. She's 1 year old, never had a haircut. So she's my last sheep to catch today. The last few days. Oh, first thing you do, put the handbrake on. There we go. Now, she's in four-wheel drive still, but I've got to get her out of, I've got to really put her in neutral, okay, because I've got to get her out of this position. I've got to stick her on her bottom. Okay, actually, don't take any pictures right now, that's not the position. It makes it look worse. I don't want to end up on YouTube. Okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, onto your bottom, and just relax. There we go. All right, sheep. You listen to the story. Okay, so I do get some people say this to me. Mate, that sheep, it wasn't wild like you said it was. You just sat there when you're shearing it. Didn't even try and run. I'm always thinking to myself, how far can a sheep run if their feet aren't on the ground? Not too far. So it's going to wait for an opportunity. If I make a mistake and one of those little pinkies touch the ground, then you see the fastest tap bouncing show you've ever seen. The art of shearing is not clipping wool off. The art of shearing is knowing how to hold a sheep. You're doing 300 or 400 sheep in a day, an average shearer. The world record is over 800 by a Kiwi. Okay, now I like to check the bikini line first, make sure it's a female. If a little boy snuck in, you might be cutting bits off which shouldn't come off. Firstly is the belly wool. Now kids, sheep only have 2 teats at the bottom. We try and leave them on. Unfortunately, very easy to whip off at this stage because they're quite young. So it's kind of the most dangerous part for the shearer, or the sheep really. So we go very careful around the bottom part here. Now, onto the belly wool's done. We go onto the bikini line. You think someone's arrived. I am doing a special. It's only 50p today, ladies. Now, I know there's a bit of a recession on, so I don't mind at all. I can even give you the 50p if you want. Call it a perk. Now, why do we shear sheep? Some people say it's mean, and what I'm doing to that sheep's a bit horrible. Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm sure the sheep's not having the highlight of its day right now. But basically, if I don't do it, she's going to be in a lot worse trouble. So I'm going to tell you a little story as we give her a little shearer. I'm going to tell you why we have to shear sheep to keep them a lot more healthier and happier. Put that back, she's a bit shy. Thousands of years ago when we first started shearing sheep, they looked more like a goat. They never grew wool like this. They had a very small fleece indeed. We realised we could change the sheep more for human use. So we started a thing called selective breeding. We started growing their fleece longer and longer on the back of the sheep. The worst thing we did to this animal is we stopped it molting. And that caused big problems. Wool is actually, kids, don't lift the signs up please guys, just let them dangle there. That's okay, I'll fix it in a minute. Okay, by letting them not molt, wool has become the second biggest killer of our sheep today. Number 2, number 1's the barbecue. I do take my time around the underarm, make sure you get it all, otherwise it does look a bit European. Alright, so with wool, how does wool kill a sheep? Since it's the number 2 killer of sheep. Very simple. When it gets really long like this, they can get stuck on their own back, especially when they're pregnant. If a seagull, crow, or fox finds a sheep upside down before the farmer does, it's all over Red Rover. But the biggest killer is a thing called fly strike. Flies love this unnatural fleece. They can hide their babies in it called maggots. And maggots, well, I know it's not a great story, but it's a true one, unfortunately. They'll kill a sheep in a matter of days. We made this animal live outside nature. We are now responsible for it. It paid for you to conquer the world when you did, and now we have to look after it, even if it costs us money. Oil called lanolin. Okay, that protects it. It's like wearing a raincoat 24/7. And it really only needs half an inch of wool on her body to keep her going through the winter. That's how Mother Nature goes. There we go, she's a very friendly sheep. Okay, so that's how Mother Nature made her. The original sheep still live in the mountains today, in the coldest part of the world. Their wool's all right, they get the sheep back, because they get paid per sheep. Now this is a lovely fleece. I'll see if you can see the whole shape. That's the belly wool hanging off the side, when I took off the belly. The back legs are at the bottom, dropping down the sides. This is where the head was. Alright, you roll the front shoulders in. Now this is the best wool she'll ever grow in her life. It's her first haircut. Folks, the farmer has to pay the shearer per sheep. And with the shed hand with him, it's roughly about 2 pounds. Okay, 2 pounds worth of wool. Okay, how much to the farmer? How much? 1. Please, Up £100 going to £100, I'll throw the sheep in as well. Up £100 going to £100 again, you see £100. Up £100. 2, 1, 2, 10, one over here, how much? 300 sold! That was a live auction. Well done, you just bought yourself a fleece for a 300. Where's your mum and dad? Alright, gotta make some money somehow. Alright, guys, income in your country for farmers. That's why they all went to meat breeds. Your wool breeds are dropping like flies for a reason. But the thing is, I'm not quite sure why it's happening. They still got all that oil for your makeup. Still very valuable when you buy it on the, from the shops. The farmer loses money, but you have to shear sheep, otherwise you can be done for cruelty to animals because of the fly strike. All right, that's enough about that. Let's move on. Who wants to see them dance? All right. I think we need some more energy, guys. Martha's still snoring. Okay, all the children, just the children. 2, 1. The hippie's already started with a mop. That's the hippie dance, I'm afraid. A mop dance with the Frenchman on the side. And he's the foot rake. He's doing it already. I'm rushing me a bit, I will be honest with you. You're going to do that. Not yet, Sam. Okay, anyway, you don't do anything. Don't worry, you relax. That's a Dougal, I get going. Alright, I'll start it. You just relax. Tell you, my mum and dad are so proud. What do you do in England? I'm a doctor. Alright, you leave here, I'll follow you. Go. What are you doing there? I don't know if you can see, you really can't see the full potential, but the footwork is amazing. He's already done a couple moonwalk just then, a crossover, tail shimmy, a little two-step, another